Do you go through that time of the year where you slowly start sinking? Not as sinking into the ground, but sinking into yourself, where things don't quite feel the same. You feel tired all the time, you don't want to do anything, and you have this constant feeling that things aren't as they should be. You feel like you are slowly sinking into a dark hole from which you might not return from. That is depression. It's not just being sad, but slowly giving up on your goals and basic needs. Going through either suffocating apathy or heavy feelings of guilt and anxiety with no in between. Being constantly in that rough sea of everything and nothing, and never feeling like you fit right into the world. It's not your fault, you know? It's quite common at this time of the year. I mean, the sky is gray, it's cold, and things are just more bothersome. Who wouldn't want to stay in? You aren't that crazy, honestly. And it's not hopeless. I want you to know that. I know that some of you feel like it's hopeless, but feelings and reality aren't the same. Feelings aren't consistent. So your depression also isn't. There's a way out of it, and I'm gonna talk to you about it. Well, the first step to solve any problem is to recognize the problem exactly. After all, if you can't define the shape of something, you aren't able to interact with it, and you can't solve it either. So the first question becomes, what is depression exactly? The biggest wrong thing that most people get about depression is that it is a disease, and it's not. It's a reaction, a symptom of something bigger. It's a self-defense mechanism that kicks in whenever your body experiences stress and anxiety repeatedly. It's not that there's something wrong, the opposite actually. The body is trying to protect itself by shutting down your ability to feel. That's where that emptiness comes from. So no, depression isn't a problem, but more like a warning siren, that the issues you avoided for so long can't be ignored anymore. The inconsistencies are so many that it prevents your body from moving forward, like forcing yourself to work so much until to the point you are just tired all the time, to please people that don't really care about you. Or wearing a mask every day just so people don't see the true you, because you are afraid of being judged, because you are afraid of being alone. Humans are social creatures, so our will to please is ingrained in us, but it's not enough reason to keep torturing yourselves. It's fine to be tired, it's fine to rest. Finding a way to harmonize everything is the key to solve that. These mismatches between the inside and the outside, where you do something that you don't want out of fear, are what leads to depression. And that is why it's so important to not see this as a disease. By perceiving it this way, we can start to untangle these knots inside of you, where you figure out yourself as a person and align your inside world with the outside. That's where the true control over your life starts, where you are not living for others, but for yourself. A big bonus of this is that it's also the path for true love, because the better you know yourself and present it to the outside world, the more chances you have of finding someone who likes you for you and not the fantasy. Someone who will stay. So this isn't just about depression, but life. I believe everyone goes through it at some point. Some just take longer to solve it. And I'm here to save you time, so you can have more time to build your dream life. Some of you might not believe it, because you were depressed for so long. But I was too for 16 years of my life, which leads us into the next question. What about the people who have been depressed for a long time? Shouldn't they have had the time to solve themselves? Well, if you behave one way for a long time, your brain records that into your neurons. And do it again and again, and it becomes the only way you become able to think and behave. Even if you know that what you are doing is wrong, you are unable to choose anything else. Because that's the way how you always did things, so you become stuck in this loop. You might actually know a lot of people that are like this, people that don't like the way they act, yet they do. It's not entirely their fault, you know? And this isn't hopeless too. It just requires more effort to solve. So by applying new habits into your life, you can train your brain to acquire new neural pathways via neuroplasticity, which is the ability of one neuron doing more than one function at the same time. And so allowing your brain to take new paths of thinking, the ones that don't lead into depression anymore. And no, this isn't fringe science. One example I can give you is people having half the brain removed and the other half taking over the missing half functions. The brain is a wonderful thing, so don't assume it's broken. As I told you before, I suffer from depression since I was very young, and I used to have major depressive episodes yearly. And at that time, none of this was talked about. So I consumed anything that revolved around this. And I tried everything because I was so desperate for a solution. And after a long time, I solved depression for myself. And now I aim to do the same for others. So I compile a list of behaviors which were most effective because I know how bad it is and people shouldn't live thinking that this is hopeless. So subscribe. You don't have to talk or show yourself. But know that you aren't alone.